What happens when one of reality TV's biggest stars sits down for what's supposed to be a breezy, feel good morning show interview, and it unravels into one of the most painfully awkward moments on live television? The tension inside Studio 1A could have been sliced clean with a knife. What began as lighthearted chatter quickly spiraled into a full-blown confrontation that left producers scrambling behind the cameras and viewers at home gripping their coffee mugs. Before we get into this jaw-dropping exchange, hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments whose side you're on. Because trust me, you're going to have strong feelings about this one. The morning had started like any other on Today, with Jenna and Friends. Jenna Bush Hager was in her spot on the signature orange couch, flanked by her rotating crew of celebrity pals. Mugs were full, smiles were bright, and the set was buzzing for what everyone assumed would be another easy, feel-good segment. Their star guest, Khloé Kardashian, there to plug her latest business venture and maybe dish out a few family updates for the fans. Welcome back to Today with Jenna and Friends. I'm Jenna Bush Hager, and we are so excited to have Khloé Kardashian here with us this morning. Jenna beamed, motioning to Khloé. Polished, poised, and camera, ready in a cream blazer. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Khloé replied, leaning back into the plush cushions, her smile warm and easy. The opening minutes were all harmless pleasantries. The weather, her drive-in, the usual soft ball chatter. But then comedian and actress Sarah, filling the third chair that day, decided to lob a question that would change the mood instantly. So, Khloé, I hope this isn't too forward, but do you ever get tired of people asking you about your family drama? Every interview starts with Kim this, Kourtney that, and I'm just thinking, doesn't this woman have her own life? The audience chuckled. Jenna shot Sarah a sideways glance that clearly said, not where we were going with this. Khloé's smile didn't falter, but her eyes sharpened.
You know what, Sarah?
That's actually a great question, she said, her voice calm, but edged. And honestly, yeah, I do get tired of it. I get tired of people assuming my entire identity revolves around my sisters or whatever drama is trending in the family that week. Jenna tried to steer the ship back to safer waters. Well, you've got so much going on. Your businesses, your fitness work. There's plenty to talk about beyond family stuff. But Sarah wasn't done. Right, but let's be honest. Would any of us even know who you are without the family connection? I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just reality. Silence. Thick, heavy silence. Even the audience froze. Khloé sat up straighter. The practiced smile was gone. Excuse me. Her voice was quiet, dangerously quiet. Did you just suggest I have no value or talent outside of my last name? Sarah's face drained. No, that's not what I meant. I'm just saying family connections can open doors, which is true for lots of people. Family connections, Khloé repeated slowly, like the words tasted bitter. Yes, being a Kardashian opened doors for me. I've never denied that. But what I've done with those opportunities, the businesses I built, the work I've put in, the way I've used my platform to help people feel confident about themselves, that's all me. Jenna started to jump in. Khloé, I think what Sarah meant was. But Khloé cut her off, her voice rising just enough to make it clear she wasn't finished. I'm so tired of people diminishing my accomplishments just because of how my career started. Khloé fired back, her voice steady but charged with emotion. Do you have any idea what it's like to constantly be compared to your sisters? To have strangers question whether you deserve your success? I've worked my ass off to prove myself, and I'm not going to sit here and smile politely while someone suggests I'm just riding coattails. The tension inside Studio 1A was suffocating. You could almost hear the producers in the control room screaming at each other through their headsets. Cameraman froze, unsure whether to zoom in for the drama or cut to a commercial. The audience, usually full of polite clapping and canned laughter, sat frozen, eyes darting between the women like they were courtside at a championship fight. Sarah, visibly rattled, tried to claw her way out of the hole she'd just dug. Khloé, I didn't mean it like that. I respect what you've done. I was just talking about how the industry works. Khloé's laugh was short, sharp, and anything but amused. Making conversation. No, Sarah. You were making assumptions about my worth based on your limited understanding of who I am. And frankly, I don't know you well enough for you to make personal judgments about my career. The shift from mourning, show friendly to full, on hostility was now complete. Jenna sat stiffly between them, smiling just enough for the cameras while silently begging for divine intervention. Then Sarah made the fatal mistake. Look, Khloé, I think you're being a little sensitive. You could practically feel the collective gasp from the audience. Khloé leaned forward, eyes locked like lasers. Sensitive. You just told me, on national television, that no one would know who I am without my family. And when I defend myself, I'm being sensitive. Let me ask you something, Sarah. What exactly have you accomplished on your own? From where I'm sitting, you're a comedian who landed this seat because you're friends with Jenna. Should I question whether you deserve to be here? It was surgical. Brutal. And it landed. Sarah flushed crimson, stammering. That's completely different. I've been doing comedy for 15 years. I've worked clubs. I've written material. And I've spent over a decade building brands that employ hundreds of people. I've used my platform to champion body positivity, to help women feel confident in themselves. I've endured a level of public scrutiny that would break most people. And I came out stronger. But sure, let's reduce all of that to family connections so you can feel better about your own career. Jenna, desperate to salvage what was left of the broadcast, finally jumped in. Ladies, let's take a step back. This is live television. Oh, now you care that we're on live television. Khloé snapped, turning her attention to Jenna. Where was this concern when your friend decided to question my credibility? You invited me here to promote my work, and instead, I'm ambushed and painted as some talentless nepotism baby. That's not what happened. Jenna protested weakly. But her tone made it sound like even she didn't believe it. Isn't it, though? Khloé shot back, her momentum building. Because from where I'm sitting, I came here ready to talk about my businesses and my passion projects, and instead, I'm being told my only value is my last name. Sarah, cornered and losing fast, tried one last counterattack. Maybe this reaction is exactly why people have questions about you, Khloé. You're supposed to be a media pro, but you can't handle one challenging question without completely losing it. The studio went dead silent. The air was thick. The kind of silence that happens right before a breaking point. You could almost hear the collective thought in the control room. We're not cutting away from this for anything. Even the camera operator froze. It was the kind of moment that makes careers or burns them to the ground. And everyone in the studio knew they were watching something that would be replayed for years. Khloé rose slowly, every movement measured, the restraint somehow more menacing than if she'd leapt up in rage. When she spoke, her voice was razor steady. Challenging question. She stood at her full height, towering over Sarah, who suddenly seemed small on the couch. A challenging question is asking about my business strategies, how I've navigated the public eye, or what advice I'd give women building their own brands. What you did was take a cheap shot dressed as curiosity. And when I called you out, you doubled down instead of apologizing. Across the set, Jenna was signaling frantically toward the control room, silently pleading for someone to cut to commercial. But Khloé wasn't done. And you know what's really rich? Her voice rose, the calm starting to splinter. I've been handling challenging questions for 15 years. About my weight, my relationships, my family drama, my surgery, my business moves, everything. I've answered questions that would make most people run and hide. But I draw the line at sitting here while someone questions my basic worth as a human being. Sarah's mouth opened, but Khloé's hand shot up. No. You've said enough. More than enough. The difference between a challenging question and an insult. A challenging question comes from respect. What you did came from judgment and condescension. And I'm not going to smile through it just to make everyone comfortable. The audience sat in stunned silence, caught between fascination and horror. This wasn't the polite, scripted conflict of morning TV. This was raw. Unfiltered emotion breaking through the broadcast veneer. Jenna tried one last time to pull the moment back from the edge. Khloé, maybe we should take a breath and start over. This got off on the wrong foot, but we can fix this. Khloé's eyes softened, almost pity. Start over. Jenna, your friend just spent 10 minutes telling me I'm untalented and undeserving. When I defended myself, she called me unprofessional. What exactly are we starting over from? The part where she respects me? Or the part where she admits I might have something to contribute beyond my last name? The challenge hung in the air. Sarah's next words would decide whether the moment could be salvaged or detonated completely. Unfortunately, Sarah chose detonation. You know what, Khloé? She shot back, matching Khloé's fire. Maybe the problem isn't what I said. Maybe the problem is that you can't handle the truth. Everyone in America knows exactly how you got famous, and it wasn't because of your business genius. The words hung in the air like a grenade before detonation. The studio let out a collective gasp, so sharp it was almost painful. Jenna's face drained of color, and for a second, it looked like she might collapse. But Khloé didn't flinch. If anything, her composure only deepened, an unsettling calm replacing any hint of offense. The truth, she said slowly, each syllable deliberate, a dangerous smile curling her lips. You want truth, Sarah. Here's some truth. I've made more revenue in 1 quarter than you'll likely make in your lifetime. Millions of people trust me, follow me, feel inspired by my journey. I've used my platform to promote self-love, body positivity, and to show women they can rebuild themselves no matter what anyone says. That's the truth. She paused, letting the silence work like a scalpel, before delivering the strike that would later dominate every trending feed in America. But you're right about one thing. Everyone does know how I got famous. I was part of a family that built an empire. We turned reality television into a billion-dollar industry. We reshaped celebrity culture. And instead of hiding from that, I embraced it, leveraged it, to build something even bigger. That's called strategy, Sarah. That's called business. Sarah tried to cut in, but Khloé's eyes locked her in place. No, you wanted to talk. Let's talk. You think doing stand-up for 15 years makes you more legitimate. Let me educate you. Legitimacy isn't about where you start. It's about what you do with it. I took the platform I was given and built multiple companies. I took attention and used it to lift people up. I took influence and used it responsibly. The room's energy flipped. What began as an ambush was now a live masterclass in dismantling criticism. And one more truth, Sarah. I didn't need to be here today. I could have promoted my projects anywhere. I came here because I thought we'd have an honest, engaging conversation. Instead, I got a lecture about my worth from someone who doesn't know me, hasn't worked with me, and clearly hasn't done even basic research. Jenna, finally breaking through the tension, spoke softly. Khloé, I'm so sorry. This is not how we wanted this to go. Khloé turned toward her, her tone softening, but only slightly. Jenna, I believe you didn't intend this. But intent doesn't erase impact. And now, your friend's choice to diminish my accomplishments is here, on your stage, for the whole world to see. She stood, collected her purse, and faced the cameras, still rolling, still capturing every second of what was becoming the morning show moment of the decade. I want to say something to anyone watching right now. She began, locking eyes with the lens like it was a personal conversation with millions. Khloé's voice didn't shake, not once, Don't let anyone tell you that your success isn't valid because of how it started. Don't let anyone diminish your accomplishments because they came from opportunities others didn't have. What matters is what you do with those opportunities. What matters is whether you use your platform to build something positive or whether you waste it. She turned slowly to Sarah, whose smirk had long since vanished. Sarah, I hope you learned something from this conversation. I hope you understand that questioning someone's worth based on assumptions isn't journalism. It's mean-spirited gossip dressed up as insight. And I hope that next time you're trusted with the privilege of interviewing someone, you choose to learn about them instead of tearing them down. The studio was frozen. Even the crew had stopped moving, caught in the gravity of the moment. This wasn't just an interview anymore. It was a reckoning. Jenna, desperate to salvage the wreckage, forced a smile. Khloe, maybe we can refocus. Talk about your projects, your clothing line, your fitness journey, the things you came here for. Khloe held her gaze for a long beat, something almost wary in her eyes. Jenna, I appreciate the thought. I really do. But we're past salvaging this. Your co-host made her feelings clear, and I made mine. Sometimes conversations end there. She rose, slinging her purse over her shoulder, scanning the studio one last time. To your viewers, thank you for listening. Standing up for yourself isn't being difficult or unprofessional. It's being human. And to your production team, good luck editing this mess. Khloé Kardashian walked off today with Jenna and Friends without looking back, leaving behind a silent audience, a host drowning in shock, and a co-host staring at the wreckage of her own career. The cameras lingered just long enough to catch Jenna's pale expression and Sarah's dawning realization that she had crossed the wrong person. It was the kind of raw, unfiltered television that lives forever in replay clips and headlines. So, there you have it. The complete breakdown of one of the most explosive morning show moments in years. What did you think of Khloe's response? Was she right to walk out, or did she overreact to what Sarah claims was harmless banter? Drop a comment below. Tell me whose side you're on. And if you want more of the most unforgettable celebrity confrontations ever caught on camera, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, this is just the beginning.